Hey, Pretty Girl Club. So I want to address the "you're only black when convenient" talking point. So my first question for the black community is, what is convenient blackness? Oh, are you admitting that black privilege actually exists? Because by using the term convenient and then using the word blackness in the same sentence, you are implying that blackness comes with some form of privilege. So which one is it? And then for those of you who say, oh, well, you're only black when convenient, you jump in and out of the black community depending on the situation. Oh, you mean kind of like how in the black community you are a victim when it's convenient? Which one is it? Is blackness convenient or is blackness inconvenient? Because if blackness is convenient, you are admitting that there is a such thing as black privilege. And then if blackness is inconvenient and you believe that your blackness makes you underprivileged, you are contradicting yourself, because why would a person who's mixed with black want to jump into being underprivileged? Which one is it? Could it be that multiracial black women have a fluid identity? Oh, and I have another question for the unambiguous black community. What is blackness? Because you guys over in the black women empowerment space, you guys said that blackness means you have two unambiguously black monoracial parents and four black grandparents. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm kicked out of blackness along with about 50% of the African American community. And so if you guys want to kick us out of blackness, that's fine. Exoticals United, baby. But what you're not going to be able to do is take away a portion of our identity, or for some of us, is the center of our identity. Some people were raised only around the African American community. And so the issue is, in the black community, they don't define what blackness is. And when I was following a channel, one of the YouTubers over in the black empowerment space, she was defining blackness as unambiguous, which is fine. Unambiguous, that means two black parents, four black grandparents. It means that you do not get mistaken for other races or anything. So you're not benefiting from isms. You're not benefiting from like colorism, texturism, featureism, white supremacy, or whatever. So if that's what you guys are considering to be blackness, then why do you continue to call people like Beyonce black? Beyonce does not have two unambiguously black parents and four unambiguous black grandparents. So which one is it? The reason that people are able to have fluid identities is because you give the fluid identity by making blackness undefined. And what a lot of people don't realize is that at the end of the day, race is a social construct. Here on this channel, I created this channel because unambiguous dark-skinned black women were trying to create their own spaces. They wanted their own exclusive spaces. They didn't want us to replace them as women who are not unambiguous dark-skinned black women. And so I created this space, and now people are mad that we have this space, and then they're saying it's divisive. So which one is it? Do you want to divide people up based on their actual percentage of blackness? Because based on you guys' rules that you tried to create on social media, blackness means you have two monoracial black parents and four black grandparents. It doesn't mean being a part of the African American ethnicity. It has to do with actual race and DNA. So which one is it? What a lot of people don't admit is that race is a social construct. And so, for example, a lot of people talk about Cardi B and they say Cardi B is only black when it's convenient. Well, can't you argue that to some people she would be thrown into blackness? She's not white passing. So which one is it? And that's exactly why multiracial black women will continue to have a fluid identity, as well as anybody with a multiracial background, because you can't control how a person navigates through society. So to one person, they may see Cardi B as a quote unquote light-skinned black woman, and then another person may see her as Latina. I know that she's had like some plastic surgeries and stuff. So depending on how she wears her hair or how she does her makeup, she is going to be perceived differently. The bottom line is that multiracial black people will always have fluid identities. And so just because someone does not meet your stereotypes of what blackness is, this does not mean that they are banished from the black community. And another thing is, who gets to decide who's in the black community and who's not? Because like I said, people love calling Beyonce black. Beyonce has a multiracial background, just like how Cardi B does. The only difference between Beyonce and Cardi B is that her father is dark-skinned and, he looks more quote-unquote unambiguous versus Cardi B's parents. But it's like, okay, what about Rihanna? What about like Chris Brown or all these other people? So, if we're going to create rules around what blackness is and what blackness isn't, first of all, the rules would have to be created from the top. And I'm talking about on a government level. And until then, people who are multiracial black women will continue to have a fluid identity. There's nothing you can do to take away the fluid identities of multiracial black women. I don't care what color they are. I don't care if they're light skinned or dark skinned. I don't care if they have 4C hair. You'll never be able to take away their blackness, just like how you're not able to take away their whiteness or their privilege. And also, once again, when is being black convenient? For the people who say you're only black when it's convenient, what is the convenience of blackness? Are you talking about black privilege? Are you admitting that black privilege exists? Which one is it? And if black privilege does exist, why would the black community choose to give the black privilege to women like Beyonce, Rihanna, and Cardi B, and Mulatto the rapper, and Ice Spice? Why would the black community choose to give the privilege to those women as opposed to women like Ari Lennox, Kelly Rowland, Tiana Taylor, Suki Hana? Why is the black privilege continuously going to women with the same phenotype? By the way, if you are watching this channel and you're coming from the black women empowerment space, YouTuber Chrissy recently made a video about marketing tactics, and she talked about how a lot of people they like to purchase things from people who have a combination of both relatability and they are also aspirational. And so the thing that we have as multiracial black women or ambiguous looking black women, the thing that we have is we have the relatability to blackness because we are not white passing. That's the relatability. And the aspirational side is that in the unambiguous community, we are seen as a standard of beauty both by the women and the men. And if I'm lying, then why is it that people ignored Kelly Rowland's music in favor of Beyonce? Why did people ignore Ari Lennox in favor of Chloe Bailey? Why do people continuously ignore unambiguous dark-skinned female rappers in favor of ambiguous black rappers with lighter skin tones or with different phenotypes? A lot of people say, oh, well, we don't want it to be that way. We want only the unambiguous women to, be the representation of blackness. No, you don't. That's a lie. That is a damn lie. You know damn well that you would not be watching shows like Real Housewives or Love and Hip Hop if there were not ambiguous, quote unquote, light-skinned, aspirational women on those TV shows. The black community continues to take in black love movies with light-skinned love interests. A lot of the icons in the black community are mixed race people or people who have lighter skin tones. So this whole narrative of, oh, all of these people are only black when convenient, you guys are giving the spaces and giving room for light-skinned people to take the title of, first black this, first black that, or for biracial people like Barack Obama. The black community didn't fight back and say, hey, excuse me, he's not the first black president, he's the first biracial mixed race light-skinned president. The black community didn't say that. And so until the black community on a macro level makes a complete standard of what blackness is, which will never happen because race is a social construct, until they do that, multiracial black people or quote unquote light-skinned black people or ambiguous black people, whatever you want to call us, we will continue to have fluid identities. In my opinion, I think that the black community should actually be grateful that people who have ambiguous phenotypes have turned back and helped build the black community. And also for the people who say things like, oh, being black when convenient, that means that you're only black when it's time to sell something to black people. Okay, well, I thought black people had the buying power. I thought that unambiguous dark-skinned black women and men are the ones with all the buying power as consumers. And so if the unambiguous community is the majority of the black community and they have the buying power, why do you continuously give that buying power to people who are quote unquote black when convenient? Why do we continue to listen to Cardi B or Ice Spice or Lotto or all of these people? It's because these people possess a combination of both aspirational qualities in terms of beauty and in terms of phenotype and in terms of what people want to look like, even though they will not admit it. A lot of people in the black community have internalized colorism, texturism, and featureism. So these people are aspirational, yet they're also relatable because they are not white passing. So they are still adjacent to unambiguous blackness, but they are far away enough from unambiguous blackness to the point where a lot of women and men will live vicariously through them, fetishize them, or they will choose their music over somebody else's. People are going to say, oh, that's not true. Unambiguous women only want to see unambiguous women like playing, all these love interest roles. That's false. You guys saw the thing that just happened with Romeo and Juliet, where an actual unambiguous monoracial dark skinned black woman with black features, the broad features and everything, she got cast as Juliet, and there were unambiguous black women saying that somebody like Zendaya, who is a biracial black woman, should have played her. So let's not pretend like there's no hypocrisy that exists in the black community. Let's not pretend like there's no internalized colorism, texturism, or featureism that exists in the black community. And a lot of people might be thinking, well, why are you bringing this up towards the black community and not towards the creator, not towards white people? My question is, why is the black community constantly pointing the finger at mixed race people who didn't do anything but help the black community, really? Or light-skinned black people or whatever, black adjacent, ambiguous black women? Why is the finger constantly being pointed at us as opposed to the actual leaders of the music industry, who are mostly white men? And also that crushes that divester talking point that, oh, white men prefer unambiguous monoracial dark-skinned black women. Okay, well, if that were the case, Hollywood is run by white men. So if that were truly the case, then every person in Hollywood would be an unambiguous dark-skinned black woman. So first of all, let's debunk that talking point. And then number two, let's go and talk to the actual people who you feel are oppressing you, which are people that are, in charge of Hollywood. And also from a consumer standpoint, you don't have to purchase Beyonce's hair care line, or listen to Beyonce's music, or ignore Kelly Rowland in favor of Beyonce, or ignore Ari Lennox in favor of Chloe Bailey, and then turn around and cry colorism later on. Stop ignoring your own phenotypes. Stop begging for other women to represent you. Other women do not owe you representation. A lot of people don't understand how sociology works. Race is a social construct. If the black community wants to create some sort of DNA requirement, which is what I am attempting to follow on this channel is based off of the talking points of unambiguous black women who said, if you do not have unambiguous parents and unambiguous grandparents, you do not count as a true black person. Okay, so you just eliminated 50% of your numbers right there. You just eliminated damn near half of the African American community, and then people want to turn around and support people like Cardi B, or they support people like Ice Spice and Lotto and anybody light-skinned, anybody mixed, anybody who doesn't look like their true phenotype, and then turn around and say, they're only black when convenient. No, you make them black when convenient when you click to stream their music. You make them black when convenient when you live vicariously through them, when you watch the romance movies. You make them black when convenient when you try to pretend that Chloe and Halle Bailey are unambiguous monoracial dark-skinned black women when they are clearly not. You make them black when convenient when you try to call out their African features, like how black women empowerment creators did with Ice Spice, trying to say that she is ugly because of her African facial features. And then suddenly, when we still succeed without caring about what anyone thinks of our African features, when we embrace our African features more than unambiguous monoracial African people themselves, then suddenly, oh, well, they're just black when convenient. People are saying the same thing about Tyla. They're like, oh, she's being marketed as black. That's false. Because first of all, how are you marketed as black? And then they tried to pull up a picture of Tyla wearing Afro puffs and saying that, like, she shouldn't be wearing Afro puffs because that is not her natural hair texture. Okay, so since you want to be the hair texture police, let's talk about all the unambiguous women who wear wavy hair textures or body waves or whatever. Why is it okay for unambiguous women to wear whatever hair textures they want, but suddenly it's not okay for Tyla to wear whatever hair textures she wants? And that means, oh, she's being marketed as black. Tyla didn't even call herself black. The black community in America called her black. And so then, how much you want to bet, as Tyla grows and like gets more fame and stuff, people are going to say Tyla's only black when convenient. And it's like, no, you make people black when convenient, when you want to clout chase off of their phenotypes, when you want to pretend that you look like them due to your own internalized colorism, texturism, and featureism. You are the one making them black when convenient. Just like how people said to Doja Cat that she has hair like sheep's wool, or that she's going to get her N-word wake-up call. People love reminding women like Ice Spice, or, women like Cardi B. People love reminding them, oh, well, you're still not white, or the white man still sees you as black, or the Latin community won't accept you. Your white side won't accept you. So you're constantly telling us, black women of multiracial backgrounds that, oh, the other sides won't accept us, so basically get your ass back in the black community. And then when we say, okay, that's fine, I don't have a problem representing blackness, then suddenly it's a problem. And oh, she's only black when convenient. Well, no, if we embrace our non-blackness, we are called anti-black, and we are told that we are trying to separate ourselves from blackness, kind of like how the black community did with Beyonce in the early 2000s when she took a DNA test and did that L'Oreal ad, and she put her DNA test results on the ad and said that she was black, Native American, and French. And then the black community was in an uproar saying, oh, she's trying to separate herself from blackness. She looks like any other black woman. There are plenty of black women in America who look like Beyonce. Okay, so which one is it? Are people with Beyonce's phenotype, like Cardi B, her phenotype is not far from Beyonce's at all. So are people with this phenotype, this multiracial or quote unquote light-skinned or mixed race background phenotype, do they count as black or not? Because a lot of people will have this habit of throwing us in and out of blackness. And then when we embrace that and say, hey, that's fine. I don't mind being somewhere in the middle. You know, I'm not unambiguous black, but I'm also not unambiguous white or unambiguous Asian or whatever. I am two things at the same time. I have a multiracial, multifaceted, multicultural identity, and I embrace that. Then people want to get mad and basically be racist against those with a multiracial and multicultural background, and then they call it, oh, you're just being black when it's convenient. As if blackness is a coat that I put on for convenience. Tell me what the conveniences are of blackness. And if so, then that means you're admitting that black privilege does exist. And then once again, I can call you out again. If black privilege does exist, and if blackness is convenient when you want to sell to black people, then why are there plenty of unambiguous women in the industry who are not selling to black people? People will lie up and down and say, no, we support unambiguous women. No, you don't. You don't support unambiguous women as much as you support mixed race or light-skinned women or women like Cardi B. There are plenty of darker skinned unambiguous rappers who can rap better. Even Cardi B said there are plenty of dark skinned unambiguous rappers who rap better than me or whatever. And so it's like, okay, which one is it? Is it the consumer's fault? Because unambiguous black women are the main ones who are consuming black female rap. And they're the main ones who are like, you know, following them on Instagram and stuff, or, you know, buying their products that they are selling. So who is giving them the power? If unambiguous black people have the most buying power, right? And if unambiguous people are the majority of the black community, then you just crushed your own argument by admitting that unambiguous black people are the ones who are purchasing only from those who have that aspirational phenotype. You know exactly the phenotypes I'm talking about. The women who benefit from the isms, colorism, texturism, or featureism. So for the people who are implying that multiracial black women or kind of these more ambiguous black women are only black when it's convenient, no. You guys, black women themselves are the main ones who say things like, go where you're celebrated. So guess what? Ice Spice is going where she's celebrated. Miss Mulatto, the rapper, she's going where she's celebrated. Cardi B went where she was celebrated. Beyonce went where she was celebrated. We, as multiracial black women and ambiguous black women, are celebrated by the unambiguous community. And so that's fine. If you want to celebrate our phenotypes, that's fine. But then at the same time, put some respect on our cultural backgrounds. Do not disrespect our blackness or our non-blackness. And then don't come and turn around and say, oh, well, you're only black when it's convenient, or, you know, you only got to where you are because of skin tone. Which one is it? Do you want us to continue helping push the black community forward or not? Or do you want to separate us? Either way, we're going to embrace all of our identity. We're not going to be ashamed of our skin tones, our hair textures, the mixed race, you know, our mixed race backgrounds, or if we got some French in our bloodline, some Native ancestry, some Asian ancestry. We are no longer going to be ashamed of those things. And we are also not going to dim our light or not operate in the gifts that we have. And we're not going to stop our own shine in hopes that we can gain black acceptance, because thousands of us at this point have realized that that's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. And also, once again, to the unambiguous community, stop begging others to be your representation. If you don't want people like Cardi B or Beyonce representing you, you don't have to listen to their music or support them, or, you know, you don't have to make videos about them or talk about them or continue popularizing them. Do you know how many mixed race or ambiguous black women I started following because of black empowerment channels talking about them? I had no idea who Mariah the Scientist was, no idea who Ice Spice was, I had no idea who Bia was. I didn't know who any of these women were until unambiguous YouTube channels started talking about them, saying, oh, well, they got to where they are because of colorism, or they got away with more because of their skin tone. I was like, wow, I didn't even know who this person was. You could have let that person be irrelevant by not popularizing them and not talking about them. Yet here we are. So guess what? Multiracial black women are the future. Okay, so anytime black women divest and they get with an Indian man, or they get with an Asian man, or they get with a biracial man, they are creating quote unquote light-skinned black women. They are creating mixed race women, multi-generationally mixed women, whatever you want to call us, ambiguous looking black women. You guys are creating us all the time. Our community is the future. Unambiguous monoracial people in the black community are, it seems like the population's declining due to things like the gender war and all kinds of other issues. And so we're not going anywhere. Our community is growing. People are intermixing all the time. And so put some respect on our name. Respect our blackness and our non-blackness. Respect our black features and our ambiguity, because here on this channel we embrace both. We embrace our blackness and we embrace our ambiguity. So if that is considered being black when it's convenient, so be it. Multiracial black people did not create our society. We did not create Hollywood. So guess what? I blame monoracial white people for being the owners and creators of Hollywood and owning all these record labels. And then I also blame monoracial black people for consuming these ideas that were perpetuated from Hollywood and soaking it up and standing the women who are multiracial black women. So guess what? This is not mixed race people's fault. We cannot help how we were born, whether we were born monoracial with light skin or whether we were born mixed race with dark skin. People cannot help how they were born, and so we will no longer tolerate unnecessary bullying and antagonism and people who are against multiculturalism. Guess what? The world is becoming more and more multicultural and multiracial every single day. Your children are most likely going to be of a multiracial background. You probably have a multiracial person in your family right now. Your brother probably married a multiracial woman or a non-black woman. So multiracial and multicultural people are the future. We're not going anywhere. And for those of you who want to say that multiracial black people don't count as black, my question is, what is the percentage cutoff for blackness? Until you can answer that question on a macro level and on a government level, we will continue to have fluid identities and embrace our blackness and our ambiguity, and who gon' check us? Anyway, what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.